Hello, welcome to our assembly for Friday. I hope you had a really lovely week. It's a bit soggy at the moment, it's a bit rainy. If you listen really carefully, you might be able to hear the rain on the roof. I'm sitting in my conservatory at the moment as I record this, and it's raining outside, and I've got a lovely view of the garden and bird feeders, and I've been watching sparrows and crows and blue tits sitting on the bird feeders while I've been working today. It's been really lovely to see. I hope you guys have been working really hard. Your teachers have been telling me about how well you've been doing, and I hope you've had a good week at home, and I hope you've managed to get out for some exercise, even though it's a little bit soggy. Now, our assemblies this week have been about people who inspire us, and I was telling you on Monday about how you are all really inspirational people, how you're all really amazing, and on Wednesday, you got to meet Mrs. Bates, our new assistant head teacher, who's looking after Key Stage 2. And I hope that you enjoyed her assembly as well. And there was a lot of inspirational people that she was talking about. Now, today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about an inspirational person who is linked to something that's been in the news a lot. And it might kind of help you to understand a word that's in the news a lot that you've probably been hearing about, and that word is vaccine or vaccination. Okay, so let's show you a bit of a screen so you can see what we've got going on. Here we go. So this is Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur. Okay, and I'm going to tell you all about Louis Pasteur today. Now, he was born in 1822. That's a really, really long time ago. So nearly 200 years ago in France. And he was a skilled artist, but he was a scientist. And he became, this is a posh word, a microbiologist. Microbiologist who changed the world of medicine. Okay, so he was looking at things so small that you can't see them without a microscope. Tiny, tiny microbes, or we might call them germs or bacteria or viruses. Okay, and we know a lot about viruses in the news at the moment. So he spent many years doing his science research in a place called Dijon, and he became a professor of chemistry at a university. And when he was doing his research, when he was doing his scientific work, he discovered that microbes were responsible for making alcohol taste sour. Okay, and this led him to find solutions to the problems manufacturers of alcoholic drinks were having with sour alcohol affecting drinks. And this was known as his germ theory. And you can find out a little bit more using a dictionary about what microbes are. But it'll give you a bit of information. And some of you might even have done this in your science lessons anyway. So Louis invented a whole new process where bacteria, which was making these liquids taste sour, taste really horrible, could be removed by boiling them and then cooling the liquid. And this was called pasteurization. And it was tested in 1862. And there's a very important milk. There you go. I've given you the answer. I was going to say there was a very important liquid, and I'll give you a clue. And I was going to tell you about how I got some milk in my coffee, but I said the word milk. That's no good, is it? So there's a very important liquid that is pasteurized now to make it safe to remove the bacteria. Can you guess what it might be? Yay, well done. It's milk. So we still use Louis Pasteur's theory, his way of making liquids safe today. I think that's pretty cool. I think he's pretty inspirational because he invented something. He found something out 200 years ago that we're still using now. That's what makes Louis Pasteur really inspirational for me, that he's had such a big impact on things. So in 1865, Louis helped save the silk industry. Now, silkworms create the silk in the fabrics, and it was really successful. Loads of people using silk, loads of people wearing it, but he proved that there were microbes, these tiny, tiny bacteria, tiny, tiny microscopic living organisms that were attacking the silkworm eggs. And that meant that there were fewer silkworms to make the silk. So he worked out this process to stop the eggs being contaminated. And this was used by silk manufacturers worldwide. Now that's pretty cool again, because whilst we don't all wear silk today, he had a massive impact on a whole global industry. Amazing to think that somebody has done that. So here we've got this thing called a vaccine. Now, vaccines work, and you've heard lots of things about the coronavirus vaccine. Vaccines work by making us produce antibodies to fight disease without actually infecting us with the disease. So an antibody is something in your blood that helps your body to fight off the disease. Okay? And if the vaccinated person, the person who's had the vaccine, comes into contact with the disease itself, their immune system, their body, recognizes that it's the disease, and straight away they produce the antibodies, the things in your body that help you to fight the disease. And that's quite complicated. But basically, it means that if you've had the vaccine, it will help you to fight the disease off. So if you have grandparents or relatives who are particularly poorly or whatever, who are going to have the COVID vaccine, it means that if they then come into contact with the COVID vaccine, then they'll be able to fight it off, and they won't be poorly. Now, in 1879, the first vaccine was created for a disease called chicken cholera. And Louis Pasteur discovered that after accidentally exposing chickens to a form of the disease, the chickens became resistant to the actual virus. So he continued with this research, and he created vaccines for anthrax and cholera and tuberculosis and smallpox. And we don't hear about these diseases now. These illnesses were really, really bad in the 1800s. Many animals, many people were dying from them. But we don't hear of people dying from them now because of all of Louis Pasteur's work with vaccination. In 1882, Louis switched his focus to finding a solution to the problem of rabies. And rabies is a fatal virus carried by infected dogs. It's passed on through saliva and being bitten. And in 1885, Louis vaccinated a 9-year-old boy who'd been bitten by a rabid dog. The vaccine was a success, and the boy didn't develop rabies. And this success brought Louis fame. International fundraising helped build the Pasteur Institute in Paris. So imagine having a whole organization named after you. So it's pretty cool. He's got this amazing legacy. And he's not just come up with one idea. He's taken that idea and he's developed it, and he's gone on and on and on. It's really, really cool that he's had that impact. And the word that we use for that is legacy. And that's really important. So Louis Pasteur changed the world of medicine. And through his vaccines, thousands of people have survived fatal illnesses. He invented pasteurization, the method we use to remove the bacteria from milk. Alcoholic drinks are pasteurized for the same reason, and the taste isn't affected by the process. So he died in 1895, age 70, and we're now looking at vaccinating people against COVID, against coronavirus. So over the next few weeks and months, there's going to be people we know, people we love. It might be grandparents or aunts or uncles or whoever you've got in your family, neighbours who are elderly or vulnerable to COVID, and they're going to be vaccinated. Now, we might not have the vaccine because we're all that little bit younger for a little bit longer than that. We're going to be waiting a little bit longer for a vaccine. So we're all playing our part by making sure that we stay at home, that we keep our 2 meters distance, that we wear masks when we're out in public, that we wash our hands really regularly, and that we follow all of our lockdown rules. And whilst we can't help with the science behind the vaccine, actually what we're doing is just as important by making sure that people don't catch COVID in the first place. So, well done for staying at home, guys. Well done for following the rules if you've been out, if you've been into school, if you've been out on your daily exercise. Well done for following all of those rules and for making sure you only go out once, making sure you're not mixing with other people. And that's how you are all being absolutely inspirational, as well as Louis Pasteur. Right, there you go, guys. There's your assembly for this week. I hope that you have a lovely weekend, and I hope that you do some fun things at home. Might be playing games with your family. It might be going somewhere for a lovely walk or a bike ride, and you wrap up warm and get out. And I will look forward to seeing some of you in school on Monday. And I will be here for another assembly on Monday for everybody else. Please make sure when you're at home this weekend and for the rest of Friday that you're being really, really good for mum and dad, that you're doing all the things that you're asked to do straight away, and that you are working really, really hard for your teachers. So I can tell you again on Monday how proud I am of you, how amazing you all are. Well done, guys. See you all soon.